Are you looking for the best Wi-Fi routers? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best Wi-Fi routers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Linksys EA7500 Dual Band Wi-Fi Router. The Linksys EA7500 provides a lot of value in a reasonably priced package. During testing, the EA7500 proved capable of serving up speeds in excess of 600 megabits per second to laptops and tablets in close proximity to it. If you have a home with a lot of internet users or need to provide web access to a number of devices simultaneously during your workday, it won't let you down. We found that it could handle streaming a 4K YouTube video to one device while 2 others downloaded large files at the same time. In addition to being able to connect wirelessly to the network, this router features 4 Gigabit LAN ports, which are must-haves for anyone that owns a home media server or older devices that lack Wi-Fi capabilities. Finally, its integrated USB 3 port allows you to connect a USB hard drive or thumb drive to it. This makes it possible to share the contents of the connected drive to any computer connected to your network. We loved how the EA7500 companion Linksys app, which is available for iOS and Android, made the router so easy to use. Thanks to the app, setting up the router and administering who can and cannot use it are pain-free experiences. You can even use it to administer the EA7500 when you're out of the house. So, while you're out shopping, for example, you can switch Wi-Fi access on or off for each device connected to your network, a useful tool for parents trying to keep their kids from watching too much YouTube when they should be doing their homework. It's worth noting that the EA7500 doesn't support the latest Wi-Fi 6 standard, aka 802.11ax. Despite this, it's fast enough for most tasks, and most people won't find themselves in a situation to come even close to reaching the max speed of Wi-Fi 5, 802.11ac, which is 3.5 gigabits per second, unless you're a hardcore online gamer or need to shuttle large video files between your home and office for work. You'll be happy with the EA7500's capabilities. Number 2. NETGEAR Nighthawk Wi-Fi 6 Router. Looking for a super-fast router that can handle several people playing online games, streaming to Twitch, or watching Netflix at the same time, while still leaving enough bandwidth for web browsing? That would be the NETGEAR Nighthawk AX12, a Wi-Fi router that supports the fastest standards and features that Wi-Fi 6 has to offer. The AX12 supports 2 Wi-Fi bands, one at 2.4 GHz, one in the 5 GHz range. It can send and receive up to 12 separate streams of data using its 8 antennas, for streams on the 2.4 GHz band and 8 on the 5 GHz bands. It also includes a 2.5 gigabits per second wired Ethernet connection, which is 2.5x faster than the typical 1 gigabit per second gigabit Ethernet connection, a must-have for a home media server streaming 4K video to multiple devices. That's good, as we found that the Wi-Fi was fast enough to nearly saturate a 1 gigabit per second connection. During testing, it consistently sent and received data at over 700 megabits per second. In addition, the AX12 also includes 4 gigabit Ethernet connections for connecting to older computers, as well as 2 USB 3.0 ports for connecting USB hard drives. The data on drives connected to the router can be shared with Windows or Mac devices over the network thanks to the router's built-in software. The AX12 is controlled through the NETGEAR Nighthawk app, available for Android and iOS devices. The app provides full control of the router from either within your network or remotely. Additionally, it allows you to do things like block individual devices from your network or set up a Wi-Fi network specifically for guests that blocks them from accessing your local devices. Number 3. D-Link Wi-Fi Router. The MR9600 is a fast, sophisticated router that has a lot to offer. It supports Wi-Fi 6, with 4x4 MIMO, on 4 separate antennas. This means it can send and receive 4 signals simultaneously, to talk with up to 4 devices at one time. This is a big plus if multiple devices are connected to your home network, at any one time. During testing, we found that the MR9600 managed over 700 megabits per second, with a single device connected to it, in close proximity. It also handled multiple connections well, too. We were able to view a 4K YouTube video on one device while 3 others were swamping the router with various types of high-speed connections. This makes the MR9600 a good pick, for example, for anyone who enjoys streaming music while working at home, while their kids attend school using video conferencing software. The app that controls the MR9600 is available for both iOS and Android and can be used to set up a guest network or turn off the Wi-Fi while you're out of the house if the kids are binging YouTube. It's worth noting that this router can work with some mesh network setups. However, it doesn't support the third Wi-Fi band that some mesh networks use to communicate with each other, so it may not perform as quickly as the rest of the network. Number 4. NETGEAR 4Stream Wi-Fi 6 Dual Band Gigabit Router. The NETGEAR WAX204 is a Wi-Fi 6 router that can support up to 3 independent Wi-Fi networks. This could be useful, for example, to a homeowner who wants one network for their family, one for the folks renting the basement suite in their home, and a third network specifically for their property's wireless security system. There is no app to set this router up. Instead, the short, printed setup guide assumes you have access to a wired Ethernet computer that you can plug into the router. Once your computer is connected to the WAX204, setup is completed using a web browser. Once it was installed, we found the WAX204 offered speeds of over 700 megabits per second when our test devices were placed close to the router. While testing it with a laptop 30 feet away from the router, we saw speeds of 300 megabits per second. While these speeds are acceptable, they're nothing to write home about. However, if you can find a use for the WAX204's multi-network capabilities, it might be worth your attention. Number 5. ASUS ROG Rapture Wi-Fi 6 Wireless Gaming Router. The ASUS ROG Rapture GTAX 11000 is designed primarily with gamers in mind. That said, this powerful router can, potentially, support enough bandwidth to download all of the Rocky movies in a few seconds. It achieves these breakneck speeds thanks to a fast processor that keeps the data moving around quickly and an array of 8 antennas. Setting up the GTAX 11000 is completed using the ASUS Router app, available for both iOS and Android. The app also allows you to view how much traffic the router is carrying and the amount of data each device on your network is using. That the app makes it possible to prioritize your data is the icing on the cake. You can, for instance, prioritize data for online gaming over file downloads or normal web traffic, making for a smoother playing experience. We certainly found that this Wi-Fi 6 router was fast. We measured the speed it sent and received data at over 700 megabits per second with both a smartphone and a laptop when they were close to the router. The speeds at distance were a bit more limited, though, with the phone and laptop about 35 feet from the router, they dropped down to around 100 megabits per second. That said, this is too much router for most people.